Hey there, juniors. How you doing today? It is Monday the 29th, and I hope you had a great holiday weekend. I hope you took a lot of time to refresh, recharge, and renew yourself and to get ready to have a really good push to the end of the semester. A couple things to think about before as we're getting started here. First off, there are just 2 weeks left before we start finals. So we have this week, we have next week, and then we have finals. Now, finals technically are 4 days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Uh, but we will probably start them early just because, the length of time it's going to take to do the readings and get everything together. So we will probably take 2 days for the finals. We'll work on that schedule for you. But just really note that you're on the clock now, and you really want to keep an eye on that clock because you don't want to run out of time. You want to make sure that you have all your work in, that you have the best chance of being successful, and that you are doing all the things that you can, right, to keep your grade the place that you want it to be. So be very aware of that, okay? Let's take a look at what we got going on today. Let me pull up Google Classroom for you. So the first thing to note here is that everything for the week has been posted for you already. So if you do want to start thinking ahead, you are more than welcome to. Here's today's assignment: symbolism and illustration. Tomorrow we'll be looking at supporting ideas. On Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be doing a reading. A little bit longer of a reading. We'll be working on that. We'll be looking to do some annotations and then also looking for some pieces about theme. And then on Friday, we're going to do the constructed response. Now, what we are going to do for Friday in that constructed response, we're going to take all the pieces that we have: the crucible, sinners in the hands of an angry God, and the stuff from this week. We're going to pull all those pieces together into that theme development, okay? It's kind of what we're wanting to aim for. Now, today's assignment kind of sits in its own little box, but the rest of this week's assignments will be done on a slideshow that is found here on Friday's assignment where it says theme development. All the notes and things and all the information we're going to gather is going to go into that slide deck so that when you write the construct response at the end, which will be on the slide deck, then everything will be in one place. So we'll walk you through that process, but just kind of get a sense of everything we've done is going to be coming together. Let's take a look at what we have for today: symbolism and illustration. So what we want to do is we want to kind of step back into some nonfiction work for a minute. And we've been talking a lot about how the Puritan lifestyle led to the crucible, or the things that happened in the crucible, the Salem witch trials. That all those things didn't happen independently for some random reason. That the Puritan lifestyle really played a big role in that. The Puritan lifestyle was very strict and was very based on religion, right? Everything I did was religion. Everything I showed was religion. Everything I did was based on that religion, right? That's the starting point. A different second piece to that is that the Puritans believed that what their life on earth was like was also a reflection of what their afterlife would be like. And by that we mean that if you were rich, powerful, famous, good looking, successful here, you had a good life here, then your afterlife would be good because that was a reflection of what you would be, right? That it was already determined. Now, if you had a bad afterlife, if your afterlife was going to be bad, then on earth you would be poor, you wouldn't be famous, you would have a rough life or whatever, right? And so one of the things the Puritans really wanted to do was put that show out there. They wanted people to see them as pious. They wanted to see them as religious. They wanted to see them as good people. Even if they weren't, they really wanted people to see that because then as people kind of went around and saw their neighbors and their friends, oh, he's a good person. Look at the life he's leading here. That means that his afterlife will be good. That means he's a good religious person, that he is, in the eyes of God, blessed, right? And so we really have this sense of putting on airs or putting on this vision to make people think they were a different person. So we're going to spend some time today and tomorrow looking at some nonfiction about what life in the Puritan community was like. Today's is kind of told through the eyes of a child. It's not like I did this, I did this, I did this, but it really is geared toward that level and what a child would see. And it talks about what school would be like, what family life would be like, and those kinds of things. Now, as you read this, you will note here We've got that standard, the kind of breakdown that we've been doing with the boxes and everything. What we want you to do is we want you to find 5 places in this text that you can illustrate with a picture to really make us see what it was like. So if you say, oh, the religious, the Puritan life was blank, okay, that's kind of like an academic intellectual thing. But when I see it as well, that really helps me kind of get a sense of what that's like. And so we want you to find 5 places in the text that you can add in a picture, kind of like what I did here. The following retelling. I'm sorry, here, let me pull up this text here. So here's the text here. The following is a retelling of a typical day for a child living in Salem, Massachusetts in the 1600s. It's told through their eyes. And then I put in the map of what Salem looked like. Because, Salem, Massachusetts, 1600s, here's what the town would have looked like, right? We want you to find 5 images that you can drop in to help illustrate it. Now, don't just take 5 boxes and stick things in. It has to go with what's being talked about on the left side. So the picture on the right will match up with what's on the left. The key to this is going to be pictures that are representative of or are accurate, okay? And by that I mean they talk about going to school and spending all this time in school. Well, a picture of modern day school isn't going to look like what it would have been for a Puritan, right? And so you want to make sure that your pictures match up with what the reading is, okay? We want them to work together. All right? We're going to do that today. And again, it is to give us a sense of what that life was like for the Puritans, especially the children. Tomorrow, we're going to look at some big kind of broad societal pieces, what it was like being a Puritan. And then Wednesday and Thursday, you'll have a choice of 2 readings, fiction pieces that really illustrate what it was like to be a Puritan and what their lives would have been like. Hey, as you are moving forward, please make sure that you are paying attention to your grades. Make sure you're paying attention to what's missing so that you have everything in and done and together and that you have the best grade possible. Also, don't forget, your time is limited. You do not want to run out of time. If you need help, reach out to Ms. McGuire or I. Today's assignment, you will not need to make up if you are absent. You will need to have this content, but the illustration piece you won't necessarily need to do. You will need to be familiar with the content, though. Good luck.